And State of Origin to me is just finding that little bit extra when you think you've got nothing else to give. It's that little bit of guts, extra, and determination when there's nothing left in the tank at all.
It's about your soul. It's about you living and breathing the game, and about you showing your teammates just what you're made of.
They go out there and they play their hearts out. They wouldn't want to come off. They said, Tom, don't bring me off, mate. Don't bring me off. Leave me on there. In truth, they did you proud. They played with broken bones. They played with, cut, just big cuts and things like that. But geez, they were very courageous, I tell you.
Yeah, it requires an unbelievable willingness to sacrifice everything for your friends, your mates, your teammates. To lay every muscle, every bone, every ounce of your blood to make sure that you'll do whatever it takes to win that game. And if you haven't got that, if you haven't got that level of commitment, you haven't got that level of sacrifice within you, then you don't belong there. You're not an Origin player. You're just making up the numbers.
The 1982 State of Origin series was the first annual three-match series between New South Wales and Queensland to be played entirely under State of Origin selection rules. After the matches in 1980 and 81 that trialled the concept, Origin was fully embraced in 1982, with no matches using the previous 74 years residential-based selection rules ever played again, and it proved to be a memorable first series. In preparation for the first ever full State of Origin series, the Blues were afforded a 2.5-week period of selection and player consultation preparation under New South Wales and then Australian coach Frank Stanton. Granted, this wasn't exclusively with the players selected, however, at least Stanton could consult and be around his players, which included time spent training for the annual City versus Country Origin match. Maroons coach Artie Beetson, however, had only 4 days to build a team out of his men, as Sydney clubs refused to release their players from club duties the weekend before Game 1. This would lead to the QRL demanding more of their players' time to prepare for future State of Origin fixtures. For Game 1, Wally Lewis would play 5/8 and captain Queensland for just the second time. New South Wales would be captained for the first time by Manly Warringah hooker Max Krilich, who got the job ahead of Parramatta lock Ray Price. A near sellout crowd of some 27,000 fans crammed into Lang Park for the first match of the inaugural Origin series.
New South Wales kicking off, running from right to left in their sky blue uniform. And it's Queensland to receive the ball in their maroon. That's Scott in possession. And Barry Ross on the sideline.
Well, I know exactly how the Christians felt in the Roman Arena many years ago, Rex. There's tremendous atmosphere down here on the sideline before this very big Queensland crowd. Almost windless conditions down here. A perfect night for football, but very long in the grass. And with the dew on the ground, the players could find it a little slippery as the night goes on.
All right, we've got Queensland being failing to get off the tackle player as the ruling. Dowling, Murray. Run around move. Murray goes around and he's put down on the quarter. Now we're going to have a player spoken to here.
New South Wales prop Craig Young.
And a punch was thrown according to Roberts. Any more of it, he says, and you'll go. And there's the stat that we were talking about. 39 from 56, 69.6% success rate. This is about 8 yards in from the sideline, 3 yards out from the quarter. Breeze nil. High, and it's there. Listen to the roar. Now that says it all. And gets a lot of distance. Mortimer holds it up, kicks it over the head. It's not a bad looking kick. New South Wales comes streaming through and it's knocked dead over the dead ball line by a New South Welshman out to the quarter. This again. He's getting through a mountain of work already. Lewis, the dummy, straightens, unloads nicely to Murray. That pass to Meninga's on the ground. It's still on the ground. Closestead has it. Gets a pass away magically to Bruce Walker. Walker evades one tackle
And
Still going.
Wally Lewis has been flattened in back play as he got that pass away.
Oh, good passing. Meninga's been put into a half a gap. They're only about 15 yards out. I think it's the last tackle. And we've got Ray Price claiming he's been bitten. And the penalty goes to the Queensland side. See the tackle again. Now here's the tackle coming up. Price hanging onto him there. Well, that's a bit indeterminate. You can see the punch going in. Listen to the roar. Queensland 4, New South Wales 0 in the third State of Origin match, and they've won the previous two in 80-81. Pattern of the side, understandably. Mortimer resorting to the bomb. Bretnell there, the ball's bounced, nobody wants it. Who's got it? Bretnell gets it away to Mortimer. Mortimer's got it out to Muggleton. Muggleton's going hard and close. Pass back inside to who's that? Number 5, and Ziggy Niscott. And Niscott in for the try. Yes, indeed. Well, they should never have let that ball bounce from the bomb. That's what brought them undone. And Bretnell, how good was he? Watch it go up. Now he's onside, Bretnell, quite definitely. He waits. Scott didn't seem to want to go too. Well, he got impeded by one of his own players. Bretnell, the good pass out to Mortimer. Muggleton, nicely got himself on the outside. Defied the tackle, got a pass into Ziggy Niscott, who did it on his knees from head on. Now, only the 4-3 lead, and this man, Cronin, in great form. From the sideline, over it goes. New South Wales 5, Queensland 4. And Rogers for a player who's a three-quarter. Beautiful pass to Niscott, he's in! Oh yeah! And Boasted complaining to his defenders that he couldn't cover two of them, and he was a bit right, he was left for dead. There's the electronic scoreboard, which says it all. See it again. Now this is how it came about. Rogers had burrowed and weaved, and Muggleton watched the pass. It's great stuff from this young man. Niscott's on the outside of Boasted, and after a nervous start, Muggleton is starting to do some magic things here. That little stutter there and pulled the defenders to him. Niscott, like a good winger, used his strength to get through the Boasted tackle. Coming back. It's there! Cronin, if he sat out in water, he'd rust. New South Wales 10, Queensland 4. No, he's not, he dummies. There's the hooter. So at the half-time break, we've got a scoreline that reads New South Wales 12, Queensland 6. Muggleton being told to get out of there by Krilich. Wants you as a runner. Mortimer, yes! He's there. It's a try. And the scoreboard confirms it. See that one again. That was a darting, tough little try. I'm interested to see how he puts the ball down. Oh, he gets it under pressure. And back he goes through the meat of the Queensland forwards. Sights the opening underneath the tackle of Khan. And that's a legitimate try. Fourth attempted goal. Been successful the previous three. And both up again. Looked a little bit towards the right-hand upright, but the touch judges had no doubt. And there's the scoreline. New South Wales 17, Queensland 6. Who broke tackles by spinning his body. Well done, Dowling. Meninga. Good step. Into the clear. Mortimer is the mate of three tackles. It's away to Boasted. Bretnell's there. Comes back on the inside. Long pass. Got a rebound. A rebound's in for Queensland. Ryan, can you hear that crowd? They are stamping furiously. Look at them. Thank heavens on the other side of that cage. Try, and worth seeing again. The run from Meninga was a great one. He's evaded 1, 2. Beautifully unloaded to Bowstead on the fly on the outside. Niscott was there. The prop undid Niscott. A beautiful selective pass back inside to Rebo, who's given up trying to get it out in the left. And he came through hard and straight. So the scoreline now, New South Wales 17, Queensland 11.
Oh gee, that's an important miss too, because that goal would have put them within 4 points of New South Wales. As it is, they're 6 points behind and still have to score twice.
Indeed. Scrum situation. We've got them 10-4 in favour of Krillage, and they are 8-2 in the second half. The penalties are 14-6 in favour of Queensland. A massive penalty tally. Well, here's Meninga on the fly again. He's got Rebo on the outside. Brushes him off. It's a try, must be. Brennan. And Brennan in again. That one won't be missed. Meninga has done it virtually on his own. New South Wales defence threadbare out wide. 17-14, a kick and goal to follow. It will be. There's the tackle of Steve Rogers, evaded. I thought he'd gone too far, but he just threw Steve Mortimer out of the way. He had Rebo one side, Brennan the other. His decision was correct to give it to Brennan. From head on. Meninga. Look at him, inside Rogers. Rampling can't handle it. Mortimer's just pushed away. This giant of a man. And Brennan, the last 20-metre sprint on his own. And back to the action. Kill 'em, Queensland, says the sign. Wait for the roar if he kicks this.
Well, if he kicks this, Rex, they're only 1 behind. There would have been 1 in front if he had have kicked that last goal.
Well, he's kicked 4 from 5. This is his 6th attempt. And he scored all but 3 of their points. 17-16, New South Wales lead. We have 10 minutes of frantic action to go. Murray, Lewis cuts out a man. Meninga to Brennan, pulls that in beautifully. Thompson's tackle evaded. Still going as Brennan. Could have been shepherding there. It's a pass away to Rebo, who's decided it's no use, and it's shepherding. But I called it. I said it could have been shepherding, and that was, I believe, the correct decision. That's out. Last tackle. Mortimer. Long pass. Oh, beautifully to Izzard. Izzard's in. He's in for a try. The touch judge has kept his flag down. And on come the cans. Well, it's a Queensland touch judge. Well, what are we going to do? There it is. New South Wales 20, Queensland 16. The head-on shot will show that one. But Izzard's only been on for 3 minutes and he scores what could be one of the most important tries of his young life from his future point of view. Ayla, beautiful, quick hands. Watch Izzard. Yes, definitely a try. No question about it. Last tackle. Has to be a bomb. 1 minute 54 seconds to go. Dowling. There it goes. Lewis puts it up. Brentler leaps high and takes it. What a magnificent take under enormous pressure. The crowd. Lewis. Arlov wrestling him to the ground. Bulldozing him. Crowd at fever pitch here. There's a kick. It's ricocheted. At 6 to go. And there's the hooter. The ball's been kicked over the sideline and New South Wales have come up with a dramatic win. 20 points to 16. The try scorer.
New South Wales had recorded their very first win under the new State of Origin rules since its inception in 1980 to take a 1-0 lead in the series. However, centre Mal Meninga, who achieved the rare feat of winning the Man of the Match award from a losing side, had decimated the New South Wales defence in the second half of Game 1. This was Meninga's coming out party. He had not yet played for Australia and had been plying his trade in the Brisbane competition for Souths. Yet through this one game, the Blues knew they would have over a decade of having to handle the powerful Bundaberg product. But then, the devastating news came for Queensland. Meninga would miss Game 2 with a shoulder injury. This unfortunate injury would open the way though for the debut of a player who would go on to be one of the great representative players of all time. Gene Miles would go on to star in 20 Origins for Queensland throughout the 1980s and would form a regular Australian Test centre pairing with his Origin opposite Brett Kenny. Maroons coach Arthur Beetson sprang a late surprise when he replaced Manly Meninga second rower and lock Paul Vaughton, who made his Australian debut a month later in the Test series against New Zealand, in the starting lineup with veteran front rower Rod Morris. Morris had played only a handful of club games for Winner Manly after emerging from retirement in '82, but Beetson's move proved to be a masterstroke.
Now watch for Wally Lewis. Will we see the bomb to put pressure on New South Wales? Yes, we will. Brentnell took it well, it's loose. Was that an offside? Yes, it was.
If it's similar to his first, it will go over.
Colin Scott. Yes, he's raised the flags. The score 2-0. Queensland lead the game. 9 minutes of play gone, and we'll be back at Lang Park in just a moment. Graham Quinn. Lewis with the kick again. That's a beautiful kick. Will it find it? Yes. So I'm sure that these New South Wales forwards would not like being turned around as they are. Wally Lewis has found touch with his tactical kicks on each occasion. Scott was the man that was looming. Quinn, Murray, Khan, back in field to Dowling. Backing up is Miles. Miles, yes! Great try to Queensland. They lead 5-0, and Gene Miles scores in his debut match for the Queensland side, and watch the power.
Well, actually, it was the continuation of play there by Khan. Dowling got it away, Gene Miles got it, and at that stage he wasn't too sure whether he'd go, but he realised he could make it, and he went for the over the top.
Well, here it comes. This is the view that Greg Brentnell would have had with Gene Miles, the young centre, 22 years of age in his debut match, looming up to receive the pass, and this is brute strength. Takes the fullback on. Now we'll see get the ball over. Good bad substitute for Mal Meninga.
Actually, he was nervous before he went on the field, but that try would do heaps for him.
Now Rebo. And again got through Melrose. The Queensland side playing like men inspired here tonight. From Las Vegas between Cooney and Holmes. Another 7 Sport special. And a brilliant tackle by McCabe.
And there's a fight on. McCabe in the background. He's giving...
Well, it's on. It's on at Lang Park. The 2 second rowers, McCabe and Muggleton. The referee is allowing play to go on and letting the 2 players sort themselves out. Izzard. Through Quinn's tackle. Izzard over the corner. He'll score. Great try in New South Wales. The try scorer, Brad Izzard, also in his debut match for New South Wales.
And watch the power of this lad. This is the bloke we've heard about. Well, he gave the best Darnaghi you've seen around for a while. And look at the speed of him. I was told that he was tubby and couldn't run. And I tell you what, Colin Scott had a good go at him, but no doubt about it, a fair try.
Well, the old adage is that you get on and play football. Now we wonder whether Queensland will pay the penalty for McCabe going on with that fight with Muggleton. But Izzard was the man that split them out wide. And Quinn usually a very reliable defender. Now you watch Scott come across, that's about all he could do. He got the down argue again from Izzard, and that is really a great try. Comes towards the side again to Brentnell. There's the kick angling again for touch. That's a super kick.
takes play up towards the Queensland quarter. So welcome back to Lang Park with Queensland leading by 5 points to 3 at half-time. Gene Miles scoring in the 24th minute for Queensland. Izzard in the 29th minute for New South Wales. Players calling for it on the open side. They go the blind again. Khan. Oh yes! Try Johnny Rebo. 8-3 the scoreline, and it's taken Queensland just over 2 minutes to score in the second half.
And don't they look ominous? And actually they were running into a brick wall in the middle, as you will see, but here it comes, a long pass from Khan, and it goes wide out. Watch the dance by Rebo around the opposite number, and just, well, he left who was that? The front rower, wasn't it?
I think it might be Rampling, the number 10. We'll see it.
From the...
And look at that Tigerish defence of Queensland. Morris, and also Carr again affecting the tackle. Well, the penalty, holding the man down. From right in front. Up go the flags. 8-5 the scoreline in favour of Queensland. We'll be back in a moment at Lang Park.
And has done well.
Lewis saw the gap. Lewis in the clear. And a good tackle by Muggleton. But he was searching for that backup penalty.
Go fluttering away in the back line because they were kept very quiet for those particular two.
Price, Rogers. Immediately we talk about Rogers. He puts Mortimer in the clear, and a great tackle. Pass away to Niscott. No support, and goes to ground. Last tackle now for New South Wales.
And a penalty against Queensland for not allowing him to play the ball.
More importantly, what can Tony Melrose do? There's the kick. Yes. So the scoreline with less than 10 minutes to go, 8-7 in favour of Queensland. We're in for an exciting final 10 minutes here at Lang Park. Last tackle. Up it goes from Lewis. Oh, beautifully taken by Brentnell under pressure. Wonderful play by the Canterbury fullback on June the 22nd. Carr. The ball loose. Morton. Yes, watch the ball go. Look at the crowd go wild. Queensland have wrapped it up.
Hadlett couldn't happen to a better kid to finish it off for Queensland. Last week he didn't have a happy game in this against New South Wales and basically was dropped tonight, but he's come back and there it is, try flashing on the board, 11-7, and watch it. Look at this, a bit of a bumbling caper. Rowan Hancock picks it up and then a short pass and look at him go. Sees the white line and can't believe it. And that has made it home sweet home for Queensland.
Images again from head on. Rodmock, Hancock, Dowling. That's where they look as though they lost possession. There's the hooter.
The first three-match series came down to a Game 3 decider to be played at the Sydney Cricket Ground, the first time the Maroons had played at the ground since 1976. The attendance of 20,242 people was the largest for an interstate game in Sydney since 1973, when some 19,000 saw New South Wales inflict their usual flogging at the time of Queensland 26-0. After Kevin Roberts from New South Wales and Barry Gomersall from Queensland had refereed the first two encounters, New Zealander Don Wilson was to be the neutral referee for the decider. It was the first State of Origin match to be played in Sydney, and for the players, test positions in the Australian team for the upcoming series against New Zealand hung in the balance. Finally, it seems State of Origin was here to stay, as legendary Rugby League commentator Frank Hyde commented just prior to the match. Hyde said, "I cannot imagine any match having more appeal than this in the Rugby League calendar. If ever the resistance by fans to representative matches in Sydney is to be broken down, this will be the match to do it." This decider was an event, and it also started one of the sport's great rivalries. This match would be the first time 5/8 Wally Lewis and Brett Kenny would be matched up against each other.
One all on the Winfield decider in the State of Origin. Queensland kick off. They'll be running from left to right, and Sigsworth in possession for the New South Wales team. Runs into a pretty hefty tackle. The referee, Mr. Don Wilson of Queensland, appeared to me, Barry Ross, to be laying down the law to both the captains before the game.
Yes, he did. He's had something to speak to both teams in the dressing room before the game. He's a referee that Australian fans do know. He refereed the first test here last year against France in Brisbane.
Queensland inside the 5. Now, what about the weather conditions down there?
Well, there was a wind from the south. New South Wales have won the toss and they've taken advantage of that wind. But of course here, Rex, at the Sydney Cricket Ground, with the wind tunnel effects the stands make, you can't always count on that wind for goal kicking. But it is in New South Wales' favour.
Just on his quarter. Hancock. Swinging right arm there. Penalty to Queensland. Punches thrown. A little bit of a melee taking place here. Both sets of forwards come charging in. Ray Price has got a Queenslander by the back, pulling him out of it. I think it's Rod Morris. A little bit of common sense prevailed from a number of players on that occasion. Glich, Mortimer, Merlot, Sigsworth. Nice pass back to Aleph. To Mortimer. It's gone forward off his knee, but the referee will play the advantage. Up comes Queensland with it. Bowstead knocked out. 6 to go. There's Paul Vaughton, who's a replacement on this side. Lob pass out. Cronin turns it back inside to Izzard. Still going strong, but knocked over the sideline at halfway. Very well balanced runner is Izzard. He's built like a brick. A chunky little man. Very powerful. Urgency to get rid of that ball. Need to settle the play down a little bit. Murray, little step. He's got himself into the clear. There should be a try. It will be. Rowan Hancock underneath the post or beside them, and a great run from Murray. Got himself into a situation with 2 on 1. He drew the fullback, unloaded the pass, and Hancock had the pace to make the sprint. See it again. Dowling's pass out there. There was Carr. There was the little step. Les Boyd, I think, left for dead on that occasion. Murray timed his pass well to Hancock. Duke came in from the wing and made a good Meninga. No doubt about that. So after 11 minutes play, Queensland go to a 5-0 lead over New South Wales at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Cronin gets them underway again. It's going to go over the dead ball line, one would think. It does now. Play will restart from the quarter with a tap. There's Les Boyd. He slips and falls again for the second time. Right on the halfway line. And there's a little bit of an altercation between Boyd and Dowling, I think it is. The play goes on, touch judges in. Boyd and Dowling both may get sin binned out of this. It's on for young and old there with these two. They just plain dislike each other by the look of it.
I think it's 5, but I'll check.
Will you ask them as they come through?
Sure.
Okay. Boyd and Dowling both dismissed, we would think, for 5 minutes. The signal was a little bit obscure. Khan. Wally Lewis kicking downfield. It's going to be a beauty. Oh, yes. That's up to the New South Wales quarter. To Aleph. Lobs a pass over the top to Ray Price. He's jinked his way into the clear. Up over halfway. Now gives it to Mortimer. Oh, who's got it? McKinnon. Bad pass there. That was Merlot again, I think.
Well, I think that's what referee Wilson's talking to New South Wales Max Krilich about now. He's talking about this feed situation, so maybe if it occurs again, we'll see it.
Rowan Hancock on the sideline being manipulated by the trainers. And he's going back on. Warm up. Suggesting there might have been damage to the cheekbone.
And the trainer's gone over to talk to Paul Vaughton, and he's taking his tracksuit off Vaughton, so we could see that change soon.
Steve Mortimer. Aleph managed to flop a pass back inside to Steve Mortimer. The little fella screams away. Out there to Merlo. Out to Kenny. Kenny away to Cronin. Cronin out to Duke. Duke's going to get there. Yes, it's a try to Duke. It's a try. The referee a little bit dramatic with his posturing there. I thought he was overruling the touch judge for a minute, but that's a try to Duke, and some classy football involved in that. See it again. All came from an Aleph unloading of the pass there. That was it. That's what the game of rugby league is all about. Not being tackled with the ball. Merlo out to Kenny, to Cronin, and out to Duke. Juggled it, and to his credit, got it down rather shakily one-handed. Cronin's kick is just away by about 2 yards to the left, so the score now remains Queensland 5, New South Wales 3. And away they go after a pretty long second half, and the score again, let me remind you, is Queensland 5, New South Wales 3. And Barry's been in the dressing rooms. What's the story?
Well, Frank Stanton, concerned obviously with that high error count of New South Wales, is just coughing up possession. He spent a lot of time saying, settle down, we're not getting a chance to get our pattern of play going, and in fact he asked me what the error count, Channel 7's error count was. Obviously that's going to be primary on Max Grillis's mind. He's going to try and settle the team down. They're not going to try and do anything too fancy to start with.
All right, and I believe it's official now that Rowan Hancock has got a fractured cheekbone.
Yes, well, I didn't get a chance to speak to Arthur Beetson. He only stayed in there apparently a short time when I got over there, which was after I'd been in the New South Wales room. He had left to go upstairs again, and I was talking to the Australian Rugby League Dr. Bill Monaghan, and at this stage they think it is a broken cheekbone for Hancock, but of course only X-rays can tell those things.
Well, I think we've got it officially now up here in the box that he has got a depressed fracture of the cheekbone, so that's unfortunate. I know they're not very pleasant. I've had them in both cheekbones myself. Well, Sigsworth trying to stop that with his foot, and it failed to make contact. Now Quillich, Mortimer, dummies, beautiful, oh, hard, beautifully tackled there by Lewis. There's Fay, Izzard, oh, and another stopping tackle by Carr, stopped him dead in his tracks. Kenny, McKinnon. Defenders swarming now, Queensland really tackling well. Mortimer. Got it away, Duke, and he's bustled in a touch about 5 yards out. Very rough. Izzard the tackler. Brennan. Meninga. He's not getting any of those long runs tonight. New South Wales determined that they'll contain the big fella. Murray. Lewis kicks for position. It's gone straight downfield. I don't know that he intended it to go there. Sigsworth feels it in the end goal. Oh, and he's taken beautifully and stopped in his tracks by McCabe. Loses the ball. It's a try. Lewis. Well, that's the luck of the draw. And it's a terrifying bit of football from a New South Wales point of view. See the action again. McCabe was the tackler on Sigsworth. Here's Siggy in his own end goal. Back to the MA Naval stand. Tackled. Tries to force himself away, throws a one-handed pass to Duke. Duke drops the ball, and there's the try. And that is an awful blunder. That won't do either of those lads any good in the long term, let me tell you. Sigsworth. To pass the ball like that and you're in goal is, well, just not on. And Duke didn't make himself look very adroit in that situation, and full marks to Lewis to get there in time. That is a terrifying blunder. Third attempt for Mal Meninga. This is directly in front. He should kick this right up into the Bradman stand. Nice and easy. And easy as it takes. New South Wales 3, Queensland 10. 15 minutes gone. See this again. Just see it again. 5 minutes in the sin bin for Lewis, but see it again. I think he may have been trodden on very slightly there by Aleph, and I don't think throwing a football at a footballer is worthy of a 5-minute in the sin bin. Cronin from midfield. Gets one on line. The crowd applaud with relief. The referee jumps to attention. And we've got a scoreline now that reads Queensland 10, New South Wales 5. They should align themselves on the ball carrier. Cronin. Oh, terrible pass, but beautifully laid on there. Finally out to Duke. He's got a bit of pace up the sideline. Rebo comes at him, and Rebo settles him down over the sideline. And he gets a belt in the face with a ball for his trouble. Well, Phil Duke's not about to bend the knee to Rebo, and the referee a little bit amused about that too. Well, Philip Duke might come from a fairly lightly populated area, but he's not about to be worried by the big smoke, I can tell you. Bilic, Mortimer, Kenny. Cronin leaves it behind. Queensland come up with it. The Parramatta connection's not worked at all. That was a badly executed attempted inside pass. Time ticking away. 7.5 minutes to go. Cars on and cars on. Who's on? Curry's on and cars off.
Yes, I think that maybe Wally Lewis will go to lock forward now. He started his interstate career as a lock forward.
Terry Fay. He's excited the crowd tonight with some good runs. Mortimer. He's tried his heart out. Boyd. Boyd. 1.5 yards away. Price. He's over the line but can't get it down. He's no try. Held up, scrum it down. Very spectacular. Lewis. Little Murray scurrying away with a good run. Out to Rebo. Inside. Gets a pass away on the ground. Who's got it now? Queensland. Still their ball. Dowling. Belted to the ground. 6 to go. Aleph. Mortimer. Kenny slips, and that's the 6. Probably the last scrum of the match coming up next, with 1.5 minutes to go. Alf Richards on there at the moment. Mortimer, bad pass, puts up a bomb. Izzard comes through, they all leap. Who's got it? Izzard's got it. It's been knocked on. Referee quite adamant about that. They better continue with the scrum and not... That's a second row feed. It's got to be a penalty. Price runs round, knocks it out of Murray's hands, takes the tap. Mortimer. Way to McKinnon. Got to keep the ball alive. There's the hooter. Referee's not heard it. Way to Price. The kick goes up in the air. Bosted stands his ground, takes it well. It's a win to Queensland. And a deserving win. So the referee's finally heard it. Queensland come up with a win by 10 points to 5 over New South Wales team. Wally Lewis was a try scorer for the Queensland side. Rowan Hancock was the other try scorer. There was a goal, 2 goals kicked by Mal Meninga. For the New South Wales team, a try to Philip Duke and 1 goal to Mick Cronin. 10 points to 5. Let's go through this.
This was an unbelievable event for Queensland Rugby League. To fully appreciate the significance of the 1982 series win, consider Queensland had not defeated New South Wales in a series since 1959, a drought of 23 years. Queensland did indeed win 10 points to 5. Wally Lewis won the first of his record total of 8 Man of the Match awards and began an unprecedented run of 5 Origin Man of the Match player awards in 6 games. 1982 was an historic year in the State of Origin canon for all these reasons, but most of all, it is a moment in time that will always be remembered as the year of the first 3-match Origin series.